So this video is going to be a little bit different because I'm using the same pattern as last time, just with a few changes. So there's an option for gores and there's an option for just like a single panel down the front. And I used the single panel one down the front for the last video. And one of my big complaints was it just didn't fit right across the chest. It's fine, usable, perfectly comfortable. It just could use like a smidge more space. So I decided to try the one with gores. So since I'm using the same pattern, I am not going to do a step-by-step this time. Now what I will be doing is a little bit of a hodgepodge of what's going on for this project. It's a little all over the place, and that's okay. I've decided to step it up in a few ways. And one of the first things I'm doing for my next step in sewing is I brought down 2 sewing machines from my mother's. One was one I thrifted in college. It was like 18 bucks. They said it worked. I tested it out just to see if it would sew and put it into storage because I was not in a place to learn how to actually sew. Now that I've taken some time and I've learned the basics, I think I'm ready to actually get a sewing machine out. And another one is one I had at 17 and I completely messed up the timing on. So it needs to be fixed. We'll see if boyfriend's willing to do that. He says he is, but it's been on our floor for a little while. He works hard, so we'll see. I like my cat ears. They will stay. Hi! I just had a dishwasher explode on me, and that is very accurate to how this week is going. So I'm gonna keep going with this kind of more of a vlog kind of video because let's face it, we don't need hours upon hours upon hours of me sewing little tiny lace flowers onto a corset. No one needs that in their life. If you do need that in your life, feel free to share that information and we will just overlook it. Now I will show some process clips at some point in this video, but I figured I'd share where I'm at right now. I am loving these little flowers with a little, I guess, pearl. We'll call it a pearl. I think this is going to look gorgeous when it's done. But I can make about 5 of these in a day and it's going to take forever. Hence the vlog style video. But I will say I am super proud also because this is the first thing I am making on a sewing machine, which was its own adventure. Yeah. Also, since I'm making this corset very extra, this will be the lace that I am using for the top part of it. And I think I might make how to make this its own video just because it is fairly intricate. In other news and announcements, I've been super busy and all over the place. That's one of the reasons that this is a vlog style video and not a sewing video, is because one, I have been live streaming at noon every day for about a week, 2 weeks now. I'm really happy to be doing it. I am super glad I'm getting back into like traditional drawing type art, and it's been an adventure. I'm learning a lot about it. I kind of had streamed in the past, but I was never very consistent about it, and I think noon is a good fit for me because then I wake up, do a bunch of chores, get ready, eat, all that sort of stuff, and then I finish up around 11 where things start kind of slowing down and I can transition pretty well to a stream by just getting ready as soon as I'm done with my chores. I don't hit noon exactly every single day because I try and finish up what I'm doing and then set up, but other than that, I'm really enjoying it. This week I have been working on this picture. It's a drawing of my cat that I am going over with inks. This is a work in progress. It's been about a year since I've done this style of art, and it's one of my favorite. I absolutely enjoy the process. It's actually a very quick process for me. I think I'm in hour 5 or 6 for this drawing, which is surprisingly fast. And I forgot a few of the steps. I need to get back into the swing of things. You can tell, let's see, right here, there's a wrinkle in the paper that I tried to smooth out the best I could. I just went too fast. It's hard to do things on a live stream, but I'm gonna keep going. I still am enjoying this. And most of my week has consisted of this big project. There was a job online, which I'm like, I could do this. I think this would be a good fit. It's not the perfect fit, but it would allow me to work from home and use my kind of art skills. So what it was is they wanted someone to film and shoot photos of step-by-step instructions for how to bake or how to cook. And I'm like, that is pretty dang perfect. I have the equipment. I have the experience of shooting things overhead, at least to some extent. And let's face it, I'm a stay-at-home girlfriend right now, so I do a lot of the cooking, cleaning, and all of that. So if I could get an income for something that I already do every day, that would be a great fit. The problem is, this is a sewing slash art channel, and I don't have any cooking videos or anything like that, so I had to make it. So Monday, I spent deep cleaning my whole entire apartment. A lot of that was the kitchen. So deep cleaned, made sure I have all of this stuff to film the next day. Tuesday, spent the whole entire day filming. It was hard. I would say if I got this job, a second camera would be in order, or enough time to do the recipe twice. But as it is, one camera, and I'm not making 6 dozen cookies. The recipe was for 3. Filming all day Tuesday, and I filmed into the evening and the next morning. Wednesday, after I finished filming, I was transferring files a little bit as I go, but the internet decided to be absolutely horrible. It took hours and hours and hours to transfer the files. The next day, I transferred a 20-minute video in 5 minutes, but the night before, when time was of the essence, it took hours. So I look and see that the job closed. They were no longer accepting applications before I could even edit everything. Yeah. So you'll see that video at some point. Probably Christmas. I'm thinking it might be a Christmas video because it was making sugar cookies. And since I already decided to make the sugar cookies, I decided to do the rest of my Christmas baking this week because I like to send stuff to my boyfriend's work for him to pass out, and for us at home to not have 20 bajillion cookies, cakes, whatever I end up doing. Because I like a little bit of a variety. It's a holiday. It's a major holiday. So I do most of my baking at Christmas and birthdays. So I made sugar cookies, I made 2 loaves of pumpkin bread, and I mixed up the recipes. I was trying to make gingerbread cookies and ended up making old-fashioned gingerbread. So that's actual bread. So we had a lot of stuff, and I ended up sending that to work with him. So you can see why I was super busy this week and got less than several hours of sewing on little flowers done. So this is gonna be a pretty small sewing video. That's okay. I will explain in the coming clips what we had to do to get my sewing machine working, because that was an adventure that took 3 days on its own. I'm gonna stop here and move on to the next. So this sewing machine is from 1968, 1969, one of those years, and I picked it up for $18 at a local thrift shop. And I tested it when I first got it. it seemed to work fine. And I put it away for a while because I was in college. I didn't have a lot of time to learn literally everything that has to do with sewing. So I put it away, and I was hesitant to get it back out because when I was 17, I had a sewing machine, and I very quickly threw the timing off on it. And I don't know anything about repairing sewing machines, so I didn't want to risk the one sewing machine I had. Once I learned how to sew, I freed up some brain space, and I figured, okay, now is the time. And I tested it and found several things wrong with it. I'm not even sure if all of these were because of how I bought it, or if it was from the storage time. The bobbin winder was completely shot. Didn't turn at all. Boyfriend is absolutely amazing. He is so wonderful. He took a lot of time and addressed each little concern that we could with the sewing machine, so the bobbin winder works just fine. He's amazing. The next thing that we found to be a problem is the tension of the foot was off, and the fabric wasn't being fed through the machine. So we looked at the feeder plate, and it has a crack in where the feeder petals are for the fabric, and we had to hammer it back together to get the feet to move. And I'm just like, how did that happen? Did it come like that? I don't remember. And even if it happened in storage, I have no idea how that could possibly crack to the point we have to hammer it back in and not damage other parts of the machine. So we fixed that and we got it moving. The actual tension disc for the foot pedal is still a little bit off, but at least it feeds through the fabric. And there's a few other things that we did to it, like make sure it was cleared of dust and well oiled. And it looks like someone maybe used butter as an oil at one point. So that was another thing that was a little bit questionable about the machine. It's never gonna have pretty stitches. They are like 20 stitches per inch or some high insane number no matter what the settings are. I changed the tension of the foot pedal, changed the tension disc for the thread, changed the stitch length, gone through all of it. I read the manual. That should tell you something. I read the manual cover to cover, and nothing worked. So I think I'm just going to use that machine just for seam allowances. Not seam allowances. I will use it just for sewing seams. Quickly. There we go. That makes more sense. And I wanted to talk a little bit about tatting, which is how I am making the flowers for this corset. I wanted to have the ability to embellish my work while also having the ability to pick the colors and the material. So one thing I wanted to do with my sewing is have it be at least somewhat ethical in its fabric choices. Polyester is a pollutant. When you wash things, it allows little bits of plastic to get into the water, and it's also fairly cheaply made, and you can also have like some not great comfortable fabrics in polyester. I want to mainly use cottons in my work, or at least natural fibers, but cotton is readily available. And yes, you can buy cotton lace, but I want to be able to have a cheaper, affordable way of doing things and to have some control over how it looks. So with that in mind, if I learn how to do tatting and I learn how to do crochet lace, I can pretty much guarantee that I can find a color that I want to use. There's a lot of options for colored thread, and have it be cotton for a very affordable price. Tatting thread is on average about $4. For all those flowers, I'm on my first roll, even with the crochet lace I've already done. So I'm thinking for a total, even with the other color I'm going to incorporate later, it's gonna probably only be about $10 for this project, which is probably better than what I can get for a cotton lace on the internet. And I'm certainly not going to find it locally. I've checked. Everything is polyester, and I'm trying to make sure it's an ethical fabric if I can help it. And I understand that at some point I will probably use polyester in my work. I have already due to circumstances, and I also am aware that certain fabrics can only be super expensive silk or polyester. There's no other way to manufacture them. Like tulle, the difference between a tulle polyester and a tulle silk is huge, and with the cost of can you wash silk? You can't. You would have to dry clean it, and the expense of those two things is wildly different. So I know at some point I probably will use polyester, but I'm going to try and make the better choice in the meantime. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thanks. Bye.